All right. Sarah, Sheldon, you both made it to Final Tribal Council. You both gone as far as you could go in this game. The power now shifts to the jury. 11 people that you had in hand in voting, indirectly or indirectly voting out, or how they left this game, now control your fate in their hands. So here's how this is going to work. We're going to start off with opening statements. I'll give you guys at least 3 minutes to plead your case to your opening case to the jury on why you believe you played the best game and why you guys deserve to win the title of Sole Survivor and the $100 prize. Then we'll get to each of the jury questions. Each of the jury members will either ask a question directly towards Sarah or Sheldon, or they will just say pretty much whatever's on their mind, and that will be the end of that. Once each of the jury members has asked their direct questions towards Sarah or Sheldon, then Sarah and Sheldon will be given their closing arguments. Then the members of the jury will cast their vote. So let us begin with opening statements. Ladies first. Sarah, your 3 minutes starts now.
Oh, it's good to see everybody, obviously. I feel like this game, a lot of you didn't really get to know me, and we played kind of on opposite ends. That was kind of my whole thing, was not to make friends with everybody, so it made it a little bit easier to not have those conversations and to stick to the people that I was going to play with. The people that I did play with the very beginning, as soon as we started, I said, I'm going to go down with the sinking ship. It's ride or die. Let's do this. And that's it. So I do apologize to people I didn't make friends with. That was just really my strategy. I have to be completely honest. I didn't want to be friends with everyone because then it's harder to lie and, outplay everybody, that sort of thing. So I guess to kick off my game, thinking of a Canadian winner, I think it is great that there are 2 Canadians sitting in the end for a Canadian pandemic, because there couldn't be anything more suiting. But I do think that mine and Sheldon's game is both very different. Even though we played very much together, I was targeted from the very, very beginning, and I kept that target on my back with, a haters club. I was called out multiple times at lots of tribals. And I really felt like I was kind of had the world against me a lot of the time. So I really had to use a lot of my strategic skills to maneuver through the game, and really find out what was best for the group in order to make it so that I could outlast everyone else. I did go and get voted out and had to battle back to get back into the game as well too. And that was a huge turning point of my point of the game, where instead of being perceived as, always being the target of being voted out, that was really where I think my game actually kind of shifted. And now it was, we had the power to really move to the end with the people that we were playing with. So anyways, I do hope that you guys would vote for me. I cannot wait to hear all of your questions, because I do have a lot more things to explain in terms of why I made the moves that I did. But the 3 things that I think summarize my game is, number 1, I believed actions spoke louder than words, and I would always say that to my team members. So judge people based on the actions that they did instead of the words that you were telling you. The second one that I also believed was, oh gosh, now I'm drawing a blank. Oh, I'm so nervous now. I'm gonna have to remember them later, because I'm not remembering them right now. I didn't make notes because I just wanted to be genuine with you guys anyways. So yeah, I guess that's my opening speech at the end of the day. I hope you guys obviously vote for me, and I can't wait to answer all your questions of why I made the decisions that I did. Sheldon, on to you.
Thank you, Sarah. Hello, lovely jury. I'm so happy to be here today to plead my case. But here's the thing. We have work to do tonight. We have a lot of work to do tonight. I kept on saying that to many of you in our conversations. I said that in every single confessional. I have work to do tonight, and my work tonight is to leave here as the winner and beat Sarah. I had multiple alliances in this game. Yes, I had that alliance with Sarah and Tad, but that was not the only one. I had a final 2 from day 1 with Rebecca. I had alliances with Rebecca and Gabby. I had alliances with Ryan. I had alliances right, left, center. I had more alliances than DJ. The difference is I knew how to use them to get me here. Okay? So how do you summarize my game? I would say it in 3 words, or 3 terms: social game, strategic game, and my awareness, my social game. You guys thought that I was playing Sarah's little puppy. I was not. I knew exactly what I was doing every single round. Sarah, I think, sort of created this idea of she's in charge at times. That is not what happened. My idea, my social game was all about getting close to as many people as I possibly can and truly making them believe that I was this close to flipping on the people I was working with. I was this close to going to the other side. That's why, as Sarah argued, her name was going around every single round. That was my fault. That was partially my fault, because I kept on saying, you know what, you guys should vote for Sarah, because you know what, if you do it, I won't have to break my loyalty. I was this close. That was part of my social game. And how many votes did I get this game? 1. Raven voted me for once on night 13. I got no votes since night 13. It's been 26 days without one single vote. After I came into this game having won a pandemic game in just the last few months and should have had a big target on my back, having gone through the merge, having been told by the jury that I'm going to be the biggest threat to win this game, having been told by the people in this game that I was going to be the biggest threat. Nobody voted for me. I closed the roads, I closed the holes, I didn't let anybody vote for me because I was this close to flipping on my guys. I never was, because every decision I made was about one alliance. Me, 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 me. Those were the only people in my alliance. I've got strategic moves. Gabby was an enormous strategic move. I got her to flip back. I made her believe that magically somehow she could go to the end with me and she could beat me. I made her leave Kevin's side, and she trusted me. And as soon as she no longer served my purpose in the game, I love you, Gabby. I apologize for hurting your feelings, but I had to go against you and vote you out. Ryan.
I can wrap it up.
I will wrap it up. Ryan, you are the biggest threat in this game left. I had to get rid of you. We'll talk a little bit more about you later. And my final point, even because I have to wrap it up, was I had complete awareness of what was going on in this game. I know where 90% of the idols, 90% of the advantages were, because people said, here, I'll give you the information, Uncle Shelly. I knew what was going on. I was very rarely a target, and when I was, I pulled out my advantages. We're going to the rocks. Bye, Raven. Let me peek up to see if Sarah's flipping. She didn't. Okay, we keep her. I got more to tell you. Watch out, it's coming.
Thank you, Sheldon. Okay, so members of the jury, I'll give you guys a minute to process our 2 finalists' opening statements, and then we'll get right into questioning. Alrighty, so members of the jury, you guys had a moment to think about each of our 2 finalists' opening statements. We will now go into order of requests for the jury members to go first. Normally we would do process of elimination, but some jury members had to leave a little early, some have to stay a little late, so we're going to do it out of order this time. So with that being said, our first juror to ask, or more so to address our 2 finalists, is Gabby. So Gabby, you have the floor.
First of all, congratulations, guys. It wasn't easy to get there, so I applaud you for that. Sarah, congratulations on coming back in the game, but ever since then, there's been this perception of you that has been someone who just followed her along and did what she was told, not really being the center of any moves. So I'm going to give you a chance. Prove me wrong. Why do you deserve to win?
Because I was a pivotal point of a lot of the moves that were actually made, to be completely honest. So when we had our group of, Rebecca and Sheldon, and, we had Ryan in there as well, too, there was a lot of times that an opinion was made, and they were like, let's all vote one person, and it didn't make sense. And so a lot of times we were splitting votes. We were having to have just a second opinion. And probably the biggest one, to be completely honest, was when me and Ryan flipped actually from voting with everybody else in a group to vote together to protect if me or Ryan happened to be, that was when it was final 6. So then in case somebody dropped an advantage or an idol at that last move, it didn't necessarily need to be moved, but it was the strategic mind to ensure that we were protecting our people at all costs to make it moving in the future. So a lot of my moves, obviously, like I didn't, I'm not doing that, I'm doing this move kind of thing. I tried to play what was best for the group to get us all to the end, instead of allowing, it to be like a 50-50 chance and let's see who can like go on. I know that I was a big hand in a lot of the moves that were made behind the scenes kind of thing. So, and number one of the biggest ones was, unfortunately, Gabby, your demise, because you were the one that I always like to say hit the hardest from flipping on me and then coming back into the game. My whole plan was we gotta figure out how to get Gabby out of here and get my team behind us kind of thing. So it was unfortunate, but we seem to have the support of everybody. But nobody carried me to this point.
Okay, thank you. Sheldon, this is going to be a hard one because honestly, I felt like you and I got close and I was always open and transparent with you. That being said, like, I was hurt that at the end, when I was voted out, that you couldn't return my honesty, but giving me the same respect of telling me, yes, I'm voting you out. Instead of even like half an hour before tribal, we were talking, and you say you are voting with me. So that really stung a lot coming from you. And I want to know, in our conversations, what was real and what was just you being manipulative and telling me what I wanted to hear.
So, first of all, I'm going to say I do apologize for hurting your feelings. Not if I hurt your feelings. I know I hurt your feelings. I know I hurt your feelings, and I 100% apologize. Here's the thing. So to answer your question of what was real and what was not, any conversation that I had on a personal level with any of you in the jury, that was real. It was completely authentic. I was giving you my heart if you felt my heart. However, I had to make a calculation at every single vote in the game to decide what would be best for me. And one of the things Sarah just said was that she was a part of every single vote, and she was a part of every single vote. But I apologize, Sarah, you were going many times over the last 8 rounds. Many times, and I was the reason she didn't go. And the reason in your time that she didn't go was very simple. Ryan was still there. Sarah was the only other person who had a track record of winning immunity challenges or winning any competitions, and I needed somebody else there in the competition in order to help me get rid of Ryan. Ryan was the biggest threat in the game at that point. So I made a strategic move for my game to vote you out, not because I think that you were going to be disloyal to me. I did not think you were going to be disloyal to me. It was a hard decision, and in fact, if you see some of my confessionals, you see some of my talks with production, I went back and forth a lot. That was one of the hardest moves of my game, but that was also the biggest move of my game, because that gave me the power to keep somebody in the game, so to help me get rid of Ryan when I needed him to go next. Our real conversations were real, Gabby. Don't ever doubt that. That was the case. But I needed to make that move and keep Sarah because I needed somebody to help me get Ryan out. And I knew at the end, if Sarah ended up winning that final immunity, which she did, she would take me. So it was just the best move for me.
Okay, thank you.
Josh, you're on mute.
Thanks, Gabby. We will now do Rachel. You have the floor.
Okay, so you're both getting the same question, but I want an in-depth answer for it. So out of everybody from the merge, if you had to pick one other person to step aside, who would it be and why exactly do you think you could beat them? Whoever wants to go first, go for it.
You want to go first or me? That's a great question. So the answer to me is actually relatively simple. It would be Rebecca. And the reason, very simply, is that we made an alliance on day one of this game. She was 100,000% loyal to me this entire game. We played this game together, even if people didn't completely see that all the time and thought I was closer with Tad and Sarah. It was me and Rebecca for this game, and I wanted to sit with her at the end. That was always my goal. Also, I thought I could beat her at the end.
Okay.
And I actually would rather be sitting next to the strongest player in the game and beat them. So I'd rather be sitting next to Ryan, to be completely honest, but I knew I didn't have the numbers when it came down to his vote. And that was actually the other reason I brought Sheldon, is because out of Rebecca and I felt Sheldon would be the harder person to beat at the end. And I've played this with a target on my back, and I've played this from a hard place where I felt like I've had to work all the time, figuring out who people were voting for, trying to get a group together, to keep me in the game, per se. And so I felt like the best move for me, even if it involves losing the game, is losing to the best person that is playing the game. Or winning against the best person in the game, because that's what I feel like Survivor is all about, is being able to instead just take the easy way out, but, walk that hard path and win, because you deserve to win. And that is why I would bring Ryan.
All right. Thank you. Yeah, that's all I got.
Thank you, Rachel.
Thanks, Rachel.
Can we take a 10-second bathroom break?
Do you need to go like bad?
You have to pee.
Feel free.
Someone's been checking liter water bottles.
Everybody's different with their nerves. I forget things. Some people have to be.
Does nobody else hear that noise?
What
Does
noise?
anybody else hear a Big Ben alarm clock thing?
No.
No.
That's in Tad's head.
I'm losing my damn mind.
Okay, I know what to ask. Okay, we are back from our commercial break. So now, next person up is Travis. He couldn't attend, but he did submit to production his jury questions, so he left us with this. Travis said, and I quote, "I want both of them to describe everyone on the jury using the first letter of the juror's name." So basically, how would you describe them with the first letter of each of the jurors' name and why? So we'll pass it off to Sarah first. You can go through each of the jury members one by one in order of elimination, and Sheldon can do the same thing next. You're on mute.
Okay, can I get a list of order of appearance? Can you post it in a chat? Then I can go through
Yes, I'll post it in the Zoom. Thank you.
it. We're missing some people. I can go through people all at the end.
It's Manny, Raven, Tad, DJ, Travis, myself, Rachel, Gabby, Ryan, Rebecca.
Well done.
You forgot JT altogether.
JT left. JT left.
I'm
Still
here.
on 30.
He's back.
All right, so let me start at the beginning. So Manny is a machine. If you saw him do the water challenge contest, he totally killed it. Unfortunately, I didn't get to know Manny for very long, but he was awesome. Raven is a rock star, by the way. She literally is a celebrity from this season, and she's gonna see how much she was talked about, even when she wasn't here, from her appearances, from just jury and just making a statement every single time. So Raven is a rock star. Tad is let me see. Tad is, I don't know if this is the best word. He was like a tank. He won so many immunities and challenges from the get-go. He just like, when he was playing, and he was a force to be reckoned with in a good way. At the end of the day, he was a good one to have on your side. DJ was a little bit of drama, a little bit of sass, all combined into one, but it made the episode super exciting and eventful. I love DJ's drama, regardless of if it's for or against you, but grab the popcorn and buckle up. Travis was a troublemaker this season for me. I came in with actually I wanted to work with Travis from the beginning, but he actually really wasn't working with me. He was on the other side, and he was kind of like a troublemaker at the end of the day. He was very vague with me. He wouldn't give me details. So yeah, Travis was a troublemaker in my case. JT is a joker. He made this big alliance with us when he was gonna flip on us, and then he was just like, he just didn't. And then I didn't trust him from that point onwards, kind of thing. So in my case, I think he's a jokester. Kevin, I gotta think of a good name for Kevin. Kevin is a killer. He came after me so many times as the president of my haters club. He was like the sole voice of like rallying people to come after me. So, but he didn't kill me though. I came back from the dead. I rose again, got back in the game. Rachel was robbed at the end of the day. I think Rachel is a fellow Canadian. I actually really wanted to see her go as far as humanly possible in this game, because I did want 2 Canadians to be sitting at the end. Rachel won so many immunities, and yeah, she was awesome. Is awesome, not less. She is, period. Gabby is I gotta think of a good one for this. I'm gonna come back to you, Gabby, because I'm gonna think of a unique name to use.
The gift. The gift.
She was I think, how do you spell that? I don't know. Let's see. Ryan also was robbed, but I'm gonna try to think of a different word to use. Ryan was reluctant in this game. He actually played a really amazing game with how many social people that he actually had. And the thing was, Ryan was really smart about, he wouldn't actually say a lot of the information that I knew he had, but it was coming from other sources. So, yeah, Ryan reluctant. I didn't give you any bad words, Ryan, like you got in the other game we played. And then Rebecca is like the most, I want to say rawr. She's like a cute lion, but she's awesome and amazing. And yeah, that's not the best word to use. I'm usually really good with my words, but I got to come back to Gabby, who is just gifted at the end of the day. Gabby is gifted because she was the one who flipped and got me sent home, and nobody else could pull that off. And when I went to the jury chat, I was like, for sure it's not Gabby. Gabby would not flip on me, no way. And then coming back to find out it was Gabby. So very gifted. All right, Sheldon, good luck.
This is hard, so I might have to use some adjectives and then add the real word I want to use. Ryan was really, really dangerous in the best way possible. If he would be sitting here at the end, I wouldn't stand a chance. 0 chances. I have immense respect for Ryan. That's why he had to go. Gabby, as I said, Gabby, you were a gift in this game to meet with you as a person. There's this, I don't even know what to say other than you are so kind and real and genuine that I was actually shocked when you did flip. Like, I couldn't believe it when you did flip. But you're just, I don't know, you're a great human being. Raven was ravenous. Okay, she took this game and attacked it whenever she needed to. I told her something during that gameplay challenge, and she went and she blew up people's games. She's a star, as Sarah said. Kevin is a king. Kevin is another one of these people who would be sitting at the end. Nobody stood a chance. Nobody stood a chance. You guys were right. He was completely unlucky in this game. He could have and should have won this game. Tad, holy shit, Tad. Tad is terrific. I truly adore Tad. I've never met. It's been I haven't met a friend that I could truly. I haven't met somebody like Tad in a very long time who I truly think will be in my life for a very long time, and I hope that you think the same. I hope you still want me around because I'm not leaving you. Rachel, Rachel, you were first of all, you're really, really talented, and I connected off of your love and how like you completely put yourself into your instruments and what you do. But from a game perspective, you are really, really dangerous too. Like you needed to go, you needed to go, you needed to go. DJ was a diva, and that's why we loved him. Rebecca was royalty in my mind. She was my queen that I would have taken care of as much as I could, and she took care of me as much as I could. I wanted us to be sitting there at the end, in all honesty. Um, and she's just awesome. And finally, Manny. Manny moved me many a times in this game because I always look at Manny as honestly a bit of a hero. He is on the other side of the world with who knows how many hour time difference, literally fixing drones to save and protect our lives. That is a hero. That is somebody that I have immense respect for. And the truth is, he left this game for one reason and one reason only. He was an enormous threat, and that's it. Oh, Travis. I really didn't get to know Travis. So Travis was the man, I guess. I don't know. Travis was an awesome guy. And finally, JT. I got to really spend a lot of time with JT. And I honestly did not love the way he left. I wish that that would have happened a little bit differently. But JT was the. For some reason, when I think of JT, I think of the word jump because he did play a game where he was sort of moving around a lot, trying to get into people's alliances, trying to lie, trying to tell people things, trying to tell the truth. So I think he was a little bit all over the place. So I think of the word jump, and I think that's everybody.
Okay. Thank you too for going each of the jury members on Travis's question. So that's it for Travis. Next up, we will have JT. You're up.
Okay. So, okay. So two things. Okay. First question is for Sarah. I'm curious just how much control that you actually had in the game. I mean, from like a jury consensus for the most part, people are saying that you did not want Travis or DJ to go, but when it came for both of them, when it came for their nights, you couldn't really save either one of them. So as far as like how much control you actually had in the game at the time, I want you to explain that to me.
Yeah, and that actually was a fact. I wanted to keep Travis and DJ as long as I physically could because I knew that they were not coming after me in this game. However, I was playing with a group before DJ and before Travis, and they were really who came first in my mind. And I was really playing on what was best for the group in order to get us through as far as possible. And with Travis voting on the other side, that technically was a number for the other side. And if we didn't pick off numbers strategically, then eventually my group would just be done. And I would be sitting in Rachel's spot, and then the things would be completely different. You know, we'd have the other side sitting here as final two instead of myself. So in terms of the jury thinking that I wanted to save them, I think like I made it clear to everybody that was in the jury when it came time for a certain person to go, like when we needed Gabby's vote, and Gabby was not going to vote for you, JT. Gabby was like, I'll vote for Travis. And there was no one else really that we could vote out at that time. because, you know, Kevin had strong alliances with other people that were in our group as well too. And, you know, Kevin was also chatting with me, and I was like, oh, it's going to be good. We're going to be friends again, you know, fun. And so Travis became the person that we needed to vote for because Gabby was going to vote with us instead of voting against us. And it was little things like that that actually made it so that we were able to sit in these final 2 spots. So.
Okay. So one thing for Sheldon, and I mean this like out of, it's more of a statement. I have a statement and a question for you. So my first statement is, I really think that, I don't know, like, actually it's more of 2 questions. So the energy that you had in the beginning of your speech, like what was up with that? To me, it came across like really arrogant. So I'm curious if that's like how you are as a person, or maybe you just have a lot of energy. I'm just trying to figure that one out, buddy.
So I hope so. My goal was not for it to be arrogant. My goal was pretty simple. My goal was to tell you exactly how I did what I did in this game, and try to sell you all the fact that I was playing a game and trying to get to the end by winning. So for example, as Sarah just said, you know, she was making group decisions, which is true. We were making some group decisions together as a team. However, DJ and Travis left. Kevin and JT did not leave. Okay, so I was always able to keep the people that I was closer aligned with. And sadly, Sarah had to sacrifice DJ and Travis. So if there was arrogance, that's not my goal. I hope my goal is to try to show you the confidence I have in my game, the fact that I really worked my rear end off in this entire game. I tried every single day, every single round to get to work. And the truth is, yes, I was playing in alliances. Yes, I was creating relationships with multiple people, but I was trying to get myself to the end with the ability to tell a story that was compelling and would allow me to win this game.
Okay. And as far as like, okay, why, my second question is, why did you, I don't know, like a lot of people feel like when they're talking to you, the way that you would talk to them would be like, you would talk to us like we're stupid. So I'm just curious, like why you did that. Like when we would like talk to you about the vote, you would claim that you never talked to these people like at, like today, I've never talked to these people today. And
disingenuous.
Yeah, it just seemed like just really not genuine. And I really do think that you played a better game than Sarah, but how are we supposed to vote for someone that seems so ingenuine at times?
So I'll be honest, I've had this problem in my life in general, because I am a little bit more dramatic in my speech when I talk to people. That comes off as things being superiorly disingenuous. And this is a critique that I've had in my life, my entire life. It's something that I've struggled with my entire life. And it is something that I work on my entire life. And the truth is that when you put me in a situation such as this game, which was extremely intense,
Mm-hmm.
I tried my best literally every single day. I could imagine how a lot of my conversations could have come off as disingenuous. But what I will say though is, if I ever had, so JT, you and I had a lot of conversations about personal things.
Mm-hmm.
That was not BS. That was not BS. I was never BSing you. Did I ever lie to you about game things? Absolutely. Absolutely. I certainly did, but that was in the scope of the game. And you know, I remember The beginning of the game was actually quite hard to me because I had to start lying to people, and I don't lie to people in my every single day life. I really don't. And it became, and sadly, I have to say, it became easier and easier as the game went on, and that has been something I've personally been struggling with in my own life. Of why is it easier for me to lie to people, right? Because I don't. I only do it in this game. So it was so I have to say that again, any real conversations I had with anybody, those were real. Sometimes we had game talk where I was trying to lead people astray. I was trying to let people think different things than I wanted them to think, or believe I was doing different things, and that was 100% part of the game.
Okay. What number would you have cut me at? I'm curious. 6, 7.
So it's a really interesting question, because I was always keeping my options open with you and with Kevin. And that was always on purpose. There was always a chance I was going to flip if my calculations, maybe a little, but there was always, sometimes big though, because every single round I literally sat down by myself and I went through every single possibility of how that vote would go.
Mm-hmm.
Who I had, who I didn't have, what would the next round go to? And after every single calculation, every time I did it, it was always obvious to me that sticking with my core alliance would have kept me in a safer position than not. But again, you and Kevin were in a very similar boat to me. Probably you actually, JT, were closer to me than Kevin, in all honesty. I did try to keep your name out of people's mouths. And I told you that multiple times, and I stuck to my word. So to answer your question, when would I have cut you? I'm not sure I would have. If I would have probably done it after Kevin and Rachel.
Okay. All right. Well, congrats, you two.
Thank you.
Thanks, JT.
Thank you, JT, actually, also for telling me about that arrogance. That's not at all something I want to portray or what I was aiming for, or even how I feel. I do have confidence in my game. I think I did play a good game. So I hope my confidence is not coming out as arrogance. And I apologize to all of you and Sarah if that's how it's coming out.
All right. Next up, we have Kevin. You're up.
Hello, how are you guys doing? Good to see you. Not good to see you guys. I would rather be where you are and you be where I am, but that's neither here nor there. So I have a question for each of you, but I want to make a statement first. So when I think about the game, I do a ranking system. And for the longest time, the reason I was going after Sarah is because Sarah, to me, was at the top based on the fact that everyone was willing to keep her. And I have no idea why. Because to me, she seemed like a person that would be sitting in that seat right now, which she is. Last time I said that, I said Rachel, another game I played, I said Rachel would be sitting in that seat, and she went on to win the game. So my question, I have a couple questions, but I'm gonna wrap them up. First off, Sheldon, you said you were this close to flipping, but never really, right? I was also this close to voting you, but never really to win this game. Tell me why I should vote you, especially when Ryan came to the jury. He is a villainous mastermind and told us everything going on. So tell me how you were in control of this game and not Sarah. You heard earlier you mentioned how if you wanted me to go, if you wanted JT to go, we didn't get it. That was all great. But it was done as a democracy from my understanding. Everything was done as a democracy amongst your group. So tell me how you were the one in control here.
So thanks for the question. I think to some extent it was a democracy, but I also think that Sarah and I did actually have a lot of the final say in a lot of our conversations. So I won't take away from Sarah's game that we were absolutely playing this game together the entire time, 100%. In terms of why I think you asked why you think to vote for me more over Sarah. I think I tried to position myself in this game in such a fashion that I had continuous options, okay, and that nobody would target me. So at the Gabby vote, I had an option to vote out Sarah. At the Rachel vote, I had an option to vote out Sarah. I had all of these opportunities and all these numbers.
At the Kevin, you had an option to vote out Sarah.
Yes, exactly. Every single time I had the ability to vote out Sarah, but when I was doing my calculations, I was looking at the chessboard. It didn't make sense to me at that point to vote out Sarah. It just didn't make sense. She was not going to go against me. There was a time when I know she was trying to go against me in this game, and she was having some conversations with people, which is why I used my owl peak advantage when I used my owl peak advantage to see who Sarah voted for, so that if there was enough votes to vote out Sarah, and I saw that she flipped, I would have voted her out that time. And I used that owl peak advantage because Ryan was open enough to tell me that he had an idol. And if I needed to protect myself or him at that time, we could have. So to me, I feel like I was in control of my game the entire time. You guys were maybe talked about voting me out, but nobody actually ever did. Okay, except for one Raven vote. It was always Sarah. It was always somebody else. There was votes for Rebecca. There was votes for other people, but there was never votes for me.
So Sheldon, the reason there weren't votes for you is I like to go after threats, and I didn't see you as one until the competition where they had to say who was going to win this game. And then at that point, did you appear on my radar as someone that needed to be dealt with? But at that time, it was too late for the numbers. But thank you for your answer. Sarah, I wrote your name down when Raven went home. I wrote your name down when Manny went home. I wrote your name down when I would have wrote your name down when Raven went home the second time. But Sheldon took that ability away from me because he made us all go to rocks, but your name would have been written down for me again. I didn't write your name down when we tried to send DJ home. I didn't write it again. I didn't write it the second time. Sure enough, I went back, pulled out that same paper and said, Sarah, wrote it back down again. When Travis went home, wrote your name down when you went home, wrote your name down when you came back, and I still went home. Sarah, tonight I will be writing your name down one last time. And it's because you deserve to win this game. You're the one that's played this game the best. No matter how much of a meat shield people feel like you were, that's what shields are for. If they get to the end, they deserve to win. Thank you, Josh.
Thank you, Kevin.
Thank you, Kevin. All right. Tad, you're up.
My old worn shoes. My dog is very excited. Anyway, hi guys. Hi. I couldn't be happier that you guys are there. One person I probably would have also liked to see there would be Kevin. I created a bond with you guys right away. I only have statements, I don't have questions. My questions have been answered. Okay, calm down. The biggest thing that I said in the beginning of this game is loyalty, is how I play my game. I find my people, I stick with those people. I don't care if it gets me out, and that's what I did. There was a time, Sarah, where Sheldon and I were very nervous that you were not actually with us anymore. And it was the night that I went home. Granted, I know you didn't vote for me. It's just how it went down. But we were very nervous. And so we were talking about maybe this is something we got to look into. But from what it seems like, you were very loyal to the whole thing. Sheldon, you are a good friend of mine, and I do plan on keeping friends with you. I play these games to make friends, and I met a lot of good people this game, and I'm really excited to continue that friendship. However, in your opening speech, Sheldon, you did say that you made multiple alliances and you basically looked at people as pawns to get rid of. And that didn't sit right with me. I don't like the villain role. And the way you said that made you turn into a villain in my eyes. And so my vote will be for Sarah tonight. I still love you, Sheldon. I think you have been one of my closest friends in this thing. We had great talks. I continue on planning on having great talks with you. Sarah, same thing as well. You guys both played an amazing game. You guys were my ride or dies, and you both made it. So I'm very proud for both of you to making it to the end. Like I said, unless it was Kevin there, I couldn't be happier with the.
Thanks, Tad.
All right, thank you, Tad. Raven, you're up.
Hi everyone. Oh my gosh, why do you look like you're about to pass out? Okay, first off, Sarah, I want to apologize for popping off at you at a few tribals. It was Ryan's fault. I'll explain later. I'm sorry. I'll explain later. He told me something. I'll explain it later. So clean slate. I'm not gonna lie, I'm like just very, 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 very confused about both of you. Like very, very, very confused. Because I don't want to look like a hypocrite because I play very similar to Sarah. I heard that you were a Big Brother fan, and I'm the type of person I don't like getting close to people if I have absolutely no intentions of working with them. I'm the type of person, if I'm gonna vote you out, if you ask me if I'm gonna vote you out, I'm not gonna say no. I'm gonna laugh in your face and be like, yeah, you're going home. Sorry. That's just how I roll. And because for me, I feel as though it's the strategy. And I feel like that was part of your strategy, was being as open and outward as you were, because then people, it's kind of like the devil you know is better than the devil you don't. So where I get a little confused with both of you is I feel like, okay, so here's one of my questions for both of you. Let's pretend this is old school Survivor, where there is just, I'm going to say the Redemption Island thing, because like, let's be honest here, it's basically part of the game now. So let's say there's just Redemption Island and idols, right? So there's none of those extra votes, none of those rock draw advantages. Sheldon, great move though. Where do you guys actually believe, without those advantages, that you guys would still be in the final two? If you do not, who do you believe would be there?
I'll go first because I actually should have been out the first time that when Tad got sent home and he used his idol on Rebecca. If he didn't use it on Rebecca, and he would have used it on himself, I would have been the vote that would have went home that time. So I would have been gone from the very get-go. So without the advantages, I wouldn't have been here in the very end. And I'm gonna say, if my side lost a number at that point, I was gonna say your guys' side would probably have taken over and ran the entire game. It just would have been vice versa for numbers. So in terms of your crew, I didn't get to know yourself. I didn't get to know JT very well, but based on the conversations that I've heard, I would assume it would have been like JT or Kevin sitting in this spot at the very end.
Good answer. Okay, Sheldon?
That's a really hard question, because it's sort of like what would happen if sort of a story. So I think a lot of the advantages absolutely came and helped me out throughout the game, but I also think I did play a good social game. And I think that I would hope that my social game would have been able to help me get to the end. If it wasn't me, I've been saying this for weeks and weeks. Like, Kevin, in my mind, is a star who has so much to give to the world, and like, I'm not just trying to suck up. Like I have immense respect for Kevin, and I think that I would be proud if Kevin would have won this game.
Awesome. And then lastly, this is just a little fun one. Sarah, if I give you my vote, will you give me 5 recipes that you have made? I always see you cooking on this thing. Will you send me 5 of your best recipes?
Absolutely. I'll send you 25 recipes.
Okay, perfect. And Sheldon, if I give you my vote, will you proofread one of my PowerPoint presentations that I have to give at work?
Not only will I proofread it, I will make it the best presentation you've ever seen, because I love making PowerPoints.
Perfect. Sounds good. Thanks, guys.
So we both get your vote?
Okay. Y'all are both really pulling, man. I don't like it.
Thanks, Raven. Ryan, you're up.
All right. Hey guys, how's it going? I want to start by saying that I love you guys and congratulations on making it this far. But I'm going to finish my villain edit strong. So I'm just going to trash talk both of your games. All right, villain edit on. So I actually have an issue because I don't know who to vote for because I don't think either of you actually deserve to be here. Starting with you, Sarah, there's a term in Survivor that people like to call goat. I don't think you were a goat. I actually think you were a cow. Not only were you dragged to the end by pretty much me, but you also had a lot of beef with everyone and you were just a big meat shield. There's not a single move that you did that I didn't tell you to do. But honestly, my biggest issue with your game is that you were so stiff and rigid in tunnel vision. You were stiffer than Josh's salami. You only wanted to vote out Kevin and JT every single time. You never had your mind open to any other things until other people told you that you couldn't and you had to go somewhere else. And you didn't even try to make connections with other people to get the votes off of you. You just stayed in a straight line, kept being the target, and with one view of how you wanted the game to go. And that doesn't work. At any point, me, Sheldon, or Gabby could have flipped on you and snapped that in half. So how do you defend that? How do you defend such a linear game?
Sorry, I thought you were making a statement. So, the thing is, I play a loyal game. So if I had my people that wanted to turn on me and they decided that they wanted to axe me, that's fine. I would never vote for them in the end because loyalty to me meant more than flipping and making all these friendships and lying to people and being disingenuine. When you and me were sitting in Final Four and you asked me like, what should I do, blah, 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 I came to you from a point of if they're going to pitch to you that, you should write my name down, think of it honestly, because if they're going to write my name down with you, that's 3. And then I'm not going to be there in the end. Like it'll be you. So one thing that I tried to always do was just to be honest and genuine with everybody, as opposed to being anything else that I'm not at the end of the day. So I prefer to play this game with qualities that I have in real life, and those are loyalty to my people and trying to be honest with everyone. Even though I did lie a few times, obviously to certain people, they know all about it. But I did always try to come from a point of, when we were having that final conversation, you were like, should I actually write your name down? And I was like, if that's what you got to do, you got to do. And we both took a chance and we wrote each other's name down, and, and it's me sitting with them at the end of the day. So it's not necessarily being like rigid. It's about being confident in the friendships and the loyalties that you've made and being able to hold them accountable. And if they were to flip on me, and they would have voted to keep me or keep you instead of me at the end, you would have won the game in my shoes, because I would have never written Rebecca or Sheldon's name down in the end, because loyalty is everything to me in this game. And that's it.
All right, thank you. Sheldon, when I first met you, I thought you were the fakest person I've ever met. And if I'm being completely honest, the reason why I wanted to work with you so closely is because you were a terrible liar and I could always tell what you were doing. You're talking about having so many alliances, but really you're only naming me, Sarah, Tad, Rebecca, Gabby, the alliances that everyone already knew about. You talked about playing the middle, but there's not a single version of my whiteboard where I don't draw you on Team Sarah. And that's just a matter of fact. You talk about being in an alliance with Kevin and JT and pushing their names down, but I'm confident that I was closer to them and they would come up to me and say, so, Sarah or Sheldon? And I was the one not only pushing JT's name down for Sarah, but your name down for them, because you were my pond in the end. And when Sarah went, I was ready to flip on you faster than Sean lost all his HP. So, not to mention, going back to the Raven vote, if I voted with them, you would be a pre-merge boot. I think our games were pretty similar, but I don't see a single version of this game where you make it here without me. Defend it.
Yeah, I needed you. I needed you in this game. I needed Sarah in this game. I needed Kevin in this game. I needed all these people. That's part of this game. One of the things that I constantly did with you, Ryan, even though you thought I was a fake person, was you have major tells when you lie. When you lie, your chin goes down. so what I would sometimes do is I would go off screen and say, "Oh, I've got to throw a ball for my dog," but I would watch through the frame and see what you were doing while I was continuing to talk, and you would look in the screen, and as I was continuing to talk and say, "No, I wouldn't do that. No, I would. Yeah, that's bullshit." So you would talk to the screen. So for me, I knew exactly what you were thinking all the time, because I not only saw what you were saying to me, I saw what you were thinking in your head. I recorded absolutely every conversation. If I ever needed to go over it, I went over it and I saw. So yeah, maybe I was your goat. Maybe maybe you were bringing me. Maybe I was bringing you. I chose to keep you around for a while in the game because, for example, you could have been the vote for Rachel's round. I chose you over Rachel because you were the devil I knew versus Rachel was the devil I didn't. So I don't know, maybe we were just trying to play each other.
All right. Thank you. I'm done.
Okay, thank you. Lastly, Rebecca, you are up.
I've got a rubbish question. I just couldn't think of one. I'm just quite unprepared. So just like, how are you? How's your day been? What have you been up to? For both of these.
You have a question?
Which one? How's y'all's day been?
Oh, I'm sorry. Sarah, how was your day?
Stressful leading up to now, but now it's a lot better to see everybody, kind of thing. To be really honest, it's like nerve-wracking thinking of all the questions that you guys might ask and how to choose your words wisely. But my day is better now that I'm seeing you guys.
My day is good, Rebecca. I think that I wish I would have done better in this final tribal council. I'm very aware of that. And I think I came off in ways that did not turn people on in the way that I thought they would. And that wasn't my intent. So I feel sort of, I hope I was able to talk enough about my game to show the merit and the moves I made. And I hope that my mistake in this final tribal council won't bite me. That's how I feel.
Okay. Thanks, Rebecca. If that was your question, that was a pretty nice, simple question to go off there. Okay, thank you. All right, thank you, members of the jury, for addressing your questions. I am now going to give into closing statements towards our two finalists. Once again, ladies first, you have. I'll give you your summarization in about a minute, and your time starts now.
So I want to thank all of you guys for the questions and the statements. I definitely thought I was going to get eaten alive. I'm so glad it was only just by one person and being called a cow. I'll take that right on the chin at the end of the day. But I do hope that answering these questions has, not only brought to light that I tried to play this game, making friends, being loyal, and really trying to be as honest as I can with the people that I was playing with this. I actually do look forward to getting to know people that I didn't get to know in this game because of all of the great words that I heard being said about everybody. I did have a lot of fun playing with everyone, and please know that obviously our conversations we had are super genuine, and I did mean everything that I had. So I do play these games to meet people, not so much to be sitting here in the final two. So I am really excited that we got to play a really fun season together and got through all of this. I do wish my counterpart the best of luck. I am so happy that you are sitting with me here in the end. And like I said, if I
10 seconds.
Okay, enough about Sheldon. I wish you guys the best of luck, and I can't wait to be friends with you guys after this and catch up. I got to hear so much. So,
Sheldon?
I had an absolute blast playing this game. I woke up every day thinking about this game. I went to bed thinking about this game. I was constantly doing math in my head. I didn't stop for the last 39 days. I came into this game trying to be a loyal player, trying to be with the people I can be with. But as the game went on, I realized when I got into the top 10 that I do have to start telling lies. I do have to start doing things that the Sheldon in real life would probably be not that proud of in order to get to the end. We had a an auction a few days ago, and I got the ability to go talk with Janet Carbon, a player who plays Survivor, who played Survivor. I had a great conversation with her, and she told me one thing. She said, "Sheldon, go destroy the people if you can. If you think you can't get them to the end, just do it, because you will regret it later." I took what she said to heart, and I tried to get rid of the threats, and I tried to keep in the game the people who I thought I could beat. And that was my game. I tried my best. Again, I apologize if I came off as arrogant. That was not at all my intent. I really want to have conversations with all of you. Sarah, I adore you. I am very happy to be sitting here at the end.
10 seconds.
I told you in this game many, many times, I would be very happy if I win, and I would be also very happy if you win. And if you win, congratulations. I'll give you a big virtual hug. Let the best player win.
Right on cue. Thank you. All right, jury members, I will give you a second to process those closing statements, and then I'll open the breakout room and we will get to the final vote.
So I just want to say I'm trying not to look at the jury chat because I don't want anything to like sway my vote. So can you guys like chill on that?
You need to calm yourself down, Ryan. Also, I'm surprised that it was not Rebecca that said called somebody a cow.
Ryan, your edit's over. It doesn't matter.
Okay, Sheldon, if you can go back on camera real quick. Sheldon, you there? Try to speak somewhere else.
Sorry, bathroom.
Okay, not a problem. All right, one at a time. I'll bring you guys into the voting booth on who you guys want to win Survivor Pandemic Canadian Arctic. Remember, you're writing someone's name down on who you want to win this game. You're voting for a winner. It's your one-time reminder only. With that being said, it is time to vote. I will vote to the closest jury member on my screen. In that case, that would be Raven. So Raven, you will go first.
I wish we could whisper to people during this time. I want to vote for Sarah, but I feel really, really bad for Sheldon.
You have it ready because it's the same name I've written down every time that I didn't write down DJ. Thank you, sir.
And I know he played a really good game, and I think that he's going to not get as many votes as he probably deserves. And he's a speech teacher, so like I get his theatrics and like playing to the audience. But I really I'm starting to always like Sarah. She's actually not that bad. You seriously? Oh my god.
Yeah, I shot my shots at you and you shot back harder. I think we had similar games, but your end game was better than mine. So, Sheldon, you deserve the win.
Okay, my vote's.
I'll go get the votes.
Salami round. One more time.
You guys will not know who the winner of Survivor Pandemic Canadian Arctic is until the episodes get aired, when I'll bring you guys in back together for the reunion for the reading of the votes.
So in like 6 months?
Yeah.
We'll see you then.
We'll see you next time.